Getting ready to start things off here in the Mid-America Classic Championship game tonight. Jim Joyner, Steve Sell, 96.7 FM, KBBE. Long introduction, Steve, so we are cut off a little bit in terms of time. How about our keys to the game presented by Alliance Agency, Inc., located on the second floor of the Warren Place?
The Bullpups have to keep Olathe South off the boards, and they have to be able to get some kind of inside scoring. They just can't rely on the three-pointer, like they have so many games.
First half start is brought to you by the Community Foot Clinic, serving Central Kansas with comprehensive foot care since 1998. The Bullpups are in their road red uniforms as the number 2 seed. The Olathe South Falcons in their home white uniforms with South and Falcons across the front. And Emma Ruddle wins the opening tip against Danny Winslow of Olathe South. We'll give you the starting lineups here in just a moment. Immediately, Emma Ruddle is stolen. Reagan Halliday to the other end. The layup is good. Reagan Halliday, as well as Danny Winslow, Caroline Harshbarger, Izzy Pearson, Sophie Reed, the 5 starters for the Falcons. And for McPherson, it'll be Emma Ruddle, Hannah Hageman, Lakin Schieferecke, Riley Hett, and Maggie Lee. Bullpups going to the basket to our left, which is a little different because they are technically the visiting team here tonight, normally going to the basket to our right to start things off. Riley Hett, a corner three, it's good! That is the third consecutive game that Riley Hett has made the first basket for McPherson, and all 3 of them have been threes. The Bullpups lead 3-2. Over to the other side, a three-pointer fired by Sophie Reed is no good. A rebound in the lane by Emma Ruddle. Bullpups out and running. 1 minute into the Mid-America Classic Championship game, and the Bullpups lead by 1. Hannah Hageman dribbles on the left wing. Passes up top for Lakin Schieferecke, the team's leading scorer at 10 a game. Lakin Schieferecke high off the glass, no good. Ball nearly goes out of bounds. Kept alive by Hageman. Back to Riley Hett, top of the circle, Emma Ruddle. Fakes on a 3. Drives in off the backboard, no good. But a foul is called, putting Emma Ruddle to the free throw line for 2.
And that's what I think Emma Ruddle going forward for the rest of the season. She has the ability to beat anybody off the dribble. I'd love to see her just drive the ball to the basket and draw fouls like that.
Emma Ruddle steps to the line for 2 so far this season, 67% at the stripe, and she knocks down the first. The Bullpups as a team this year are hitting on 63% of their free throws, 84 out of 133.
And this will be an Olathe South team that is very difficult to turn over. They're very, very poised, very, very experienced, and play a lot of big-time competition.
This is an undefeated Olathe South team, 10-0 this year, and 6-0 against teams from their Sunflower League. 5-2 McPherson leads after the Emma Ruddle free throws. Olathe South will set up in the half-court offense really for the first time in this game as they've had quick shots in their other 2 possessions. Speaking of quick shots, Danny Winslow will try a quick one, and she knocks down a 15-footer from the baseline. Danny Winslow had 14 shots in the first half in their game against Manhattan yesterday, and don't be surprised to hear her name a ton. 5-4 McPherson. Lakin Schieferecke dribbling on the right wing, being defended by Sophie Reed. Schieferecke passes into the left corner. Riley had her passes too high for Cassie Cooks, and taken away by Izzy Pierce. Pierce running in traffic. Harshbarger floating layup, no good. Nice defense and a rebound by Lakin Schieferecke. Schieferecke will push the tempo. Picks up her dribble just on the other side of half court. Over to the right wing for Emma Ruddle. Ruddle crosses over at the top of the circle. 2 minutes in, 5-4 McPherson leads. Into the left corner, Riley Hett trying to get the ball inside for Cassie Cooks, who's matched up with Danny Winslow at 6'1". Hett, another 3 from the corner. It is good. Nothing but net for Riley Hett as she continues to stroke it from that corner.
That almost rhymes.
Nothing but net for Riley Hett. I like the sound of that. 8-4 McPherson. Reagan Halliday into the right corner for Caroline Harshbarger. You also see Avery Halliday as well. Reagan is the starter, and she is a freshman. Rebound underneath off of the miss, though, by Halliday. Winslow had it and taken away by Riley Hett, and she's found from behind. I believe they're going to book Danny Winslow, and they will. Winslow picks up her first and team foul number 2. And Steve, that's a good person for McPherson to get into the book.
Well, you're not a kid, and that is just huge.
A couple of subs will check in for the Falcons as Reagan Halliday as well as Izzy Pierce will go to the bench. Checking in for the first time, Reagan Ponzer, another freshman in this starting lineup in this regular rotation for the Falcons, as well as senior Lydia Rhodes. Rhodes had a good game in their opener, 4 points and 5 rebounds against Valley Center. Lakin Schieferecke and the Bullpups attacking the basket to our left, an 8-4 lead. 5 minutes left to go in the first. Andrea Sweat also into the game for the first time for McPherson. A dribble handoff for Hannah Hageman. Thought about a 3. Now goes back to the left wing for Riley Hett. Into the lane, Andrea Sweat had it for a moment, and it's taken away by Lydia Rhodes. Lydia Rhodes does not score a ton of points, but plays a lot of minutes for this Olathe South team. Here's Reagan Ponzer, a 5'7" freshman. She won the 3-point contest earlier today. Lakin Schieferecke was the free throw contest winner, but Ponzer, just a freshman, really shot the ball well this morning. An entry pass for Danny Winslow is taken away. Nice steal by Hannah Hageman. Up the floor, Emma Ruddle dribbling in, nearly gets fouled, but the ball is blocked out of bounds by Lydia Rhodes. Nice defense on her part, and the Bullpups will keep it on the baseline.
Yeah, but I love the aggressiveness by Ruddle, taking the ball to the basket, and now Grace Pyle into the game. And right now, if you had to pick one player off the Bullpups to be on the all-tournament team, it'd be Grace Pyle through 2 games.
She was the hero last night by knocking down 4 free throws in the final minute. As the Bullpups were down 1 against Ulysses, she put them up ahead by 1, and then 2 free throws to put them up by 3, and they held on to win 46-43. 4:20 left to go in the opening quarter. 8-4 McPherson leads. Lakin Schieferecke thinks about driving the baseline, steps into the lane, 12-footer. This one's a little short. Rebound for Lydia Rhodes for a moment, but then stolen away by Lakin Schieferecke, by Andrea Sweat. Back to the top of the circle, Grace Pyle works around a Sweat screen. Andrea tried several threes last night, did make 1. Dumps it into the lane. Hannah Hageman is bumped by Danny Winslow, and that is her second. So Danny Winslow, who might be the tournament MVP at this point, will have to go to the bench not even halfway through the first quarter with 2 fouls.
And the thing is, though, they've got size on their bench they can bring in, but Winslow is just so versatile. She plays both inside and outside.
Izzy Pierce will check back in for Danny Winslow. Lakin Schieferecke inbounds up top for Grace Pyle. Head and shoulder fake. Grace down the left side of the lane. That layup's no good. Offensive rebound, Riley Hett to the perimeter. Schieferecke, a 3 is good! They'll take the 3 instead of the 2, and a timeout taken by the Falcons. McPherson leads 11-4. 3:49 left to go in the opening quarter. We'll step aside. Be back in 30 seconds listening to Bullpup Basketball. 96.7 FM, KBBE.
Start required.
3:49 left to go in the opening quarter, and a terrific start for the Bullpups here tonight. 3 out of 3 for 3, and they lead Olathe South 11-4 in the Mid-America Classic Championship game. Steve, there was a stretch last night against Ulysses where the Bullpups missed 18 shots in a row, and I think they've forgotten all about that here in the opening quarter.
Well, it's next game. You just move on. Some nights you have it, some nights you don't. They didn't have it last night. Maybe they have it tonight. And what is it about Riley Hett at the start of games? She just comes out firing.
2 3-pointers, 2 for 2. She has 6 points. 3 points for Lakin Schieferecke on the 3-pointer a moment ago, and then 2 for Emma Ruddle at the free throw line. Bullpups will set up in a full court pressure and defend the Falcons going to the basket to our right. 3:45 left to go, opening quarter. And maybe most importantly here is that Olathe South's best player, Danny Winslow, is in foul trouble on the bench. Reagan Ponzer, the freshman, thought about a 3-pointer on the wing. That'll be Reagan Halliday stepping in. Little 15-footer, no good. Rebound, Grace Pyle. Grace Pyle, the team's leader in rebounds this year at over 6 per game. They'll dump it into the lane. Andrea Sweat spins at the right block. That shot's no good, but they will call a foul. And that'll be team foul number 4 on the Falcons. Didn't see who was on it. Will go on Lydia Rhodes. That's her first. Team foul number 4, and Andrea Sweat will go to the free throw line for 2.
And I'm sure the Olathe South fans are immediately pointing to the scoreboard where it says 4-0 in fouls, but Olathe South really not attacking the basket that much.
So Andrea Sweat steps to the free throw line for 2. First one is nothing but net. Andrea Sweat was in the finals for the free throw contest earlier this morning, being edged out by Lakin Schieferecke. They went to a 5-shoot off. And Lakin made 5, and then Andrea missed the first.
Yeah, so they got plenty of practice this morning, so they should be in good rhythm.
Andrea played a great game last night against Ulysses, scored 5 points and played a ton of minutes. She misses a second free throw. 12-4 McPherson, nearly a travel on the Falcons. They get away with it at half court. Reagan Halliday pumps, drives to the basket, but an offensive foul and a moving screen called on Olathe South, and this one will go the other way. Foul called on Izzy Pierce, and that is her second.
And I just wonder if Coach Allen is asking Danny Winslow, do you think you can play without getting that third foul? Because, you know, when she's not in there, their whole operation comes to an halt.
3:05 left to go, opening quarter. 12-4 McPherson leads here early against the Falcons. And now they will call a moving screen on McPherson on Lakin Schieferecke. This was well away from the ball, so Schieferecke will pick up her first. I didn't see it as it happened, but Lakin picks up her first, and that's team foul number 1. 5 minutes in, and the Bullpups have an 8-point lead, trying to win their second consecutive Mid-America Classic Championship. While the Falcons are trying to win their 6th all-time and 6th in 7 tries. Olathe South struggling to get the ball across half court. They finally do. Caroline Harshbarger drives to the home and scores. Kisses it off the window. Harshbarger with her first basket, and she was an all-tournament performer a season ago and one of the best returning Falcons.
Yeah, Coach Stratton said she's not putting up the numbers that she did last year. they've got a little more balance than they had last year.
Schieferecke passes left corner, Grace Pyle. Being defended by the freshman Reagan Halliday. Riley Hett up top. She's being defended by Harshbarger. Riley Hett slips to the basket, gets hammered, and will go to the free throw line for two. The Falcons now up to 16 fouls, and we are not even 6 minutes in. Foul is called on Mandy Truitt, who checked into the game a moment ago. That's her first, and she's their only size on the floor right now. Truitt standing at 6 foot, a junior, and Riley Hett's first free throw is up and misses off to the right.
Well, maybe in KC they're allowed to play a little more physical than they do in these here parts.
The Sunflower League. Second free throw coming up for Riley Hett, trying to get 7 points, and this one spins in and out, but gets her own miss. Spinning around, and they call her for a travel. And Coach Stratham was saying, hey, the ball was out of her hands, she was passing it, but the Bullpups turn it over. That's just their third turnover.
And Don Kennedy giving Coach Strathman the explanation, and apparently he's satisfied.
Got a great officiating crew for this championship game here tonight as well. 2:15 left to go in the opening quarter. Bullpups have doubled up the Falcons 12-6. Now they're trying to get a 10-second call, and Olathe South just barely escapes the pressure. Back to Harshbarger on the right wing. Drives in. Floater is good. Count the basket. No, they wave the basket off, and a foul on the floor on Emma Ruddle, and that is a break right there. So Ruddle is called for the foul. That is her first and team foul number 2. Harshbarger thought she had the N1, and frankly, so did I.
There's no NBA in high school basketball.
Reagan Halliday will inbound to the baseline for the Falcons. They get it into Truitt. Tries an 8-footer and shoots it only 5 feet, and it's an air ball, and a rebound on the backside by Andrea Sweat. Here's Grace Pyle running the floor. That's a big break for the Bullpups there because it took points off the board. Lake and Schieferecke back up top to Grace Pyle. Had 13 last night, which is a career high. Grace drives in. Great pass. Cassie Cooks finishes at the right block. Cassie Cooks making her 19th career start. Now the Bullpups trying to turn them over in the pressure. They lead at 14-6. Olathe South having a really hard time bringing the ball across half court. Harshbarger in the corner, a three. That's no good. Rebound on the backside by Grace Pyle. Nearly bumped out of bounds, but gets the basketball into the hands of Lake and Schieferecke. Back to Grace Pyle, wide open, right wing, a three! It's good! Grace Pyle knocks down the triple. That's her 11th of the season, and the Bullpups lead by 11. Harshbarger driving in, blocked from behind by Andrea Sweat, but a charge is called either way as Cassie Cook steps in front, and the Bullpups have it rolling here early.
Yeah, they really do. They're playing fantastic on the defensive end, and I believe it was Cassie Cooks that drew that. Just a great job of planting herself there. And Olathe South, remember, the Bullpups steamrolled Olathe South here last year. So
57-32.
Yeah.
1:10 left to go in the opening quarter. McPherson leading 17-6. And 4 for 4 from 3. Cassie Cooks on the right wing, making the start in the spot of Maggie Leaf, who is on the bench and might miss a little time with a shoulder sprain from last night. Emma Ruddle picks up her dribble, right wing. Grace Pyle, heat check three. This one's no good. Offensive rebound for a moment by Cassie Cooks, but she loses the basketball, and this one will go back into the hands of the Falcons. Up the floor, pass is stolen by Lake and Schieferecke. They'll call a jump ball as Schieferecke got tied up with Sophie Reed, and the arrow will be in favor of the Falcons. 44 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, Schieferecke was trying to go behind the back, and she kind of behind her back right into a jump ball, so good defense by the Falcons.
Reagan Halliday, we'll see if Olathe South might try and play for one here with just under 40 seconds left to go in the quarter. Halliday dribbles to the left wing, hands it off for Reagan Ponzer, a 5'7" freshman. Harshbarger drives in. She is fouled and will go to the free throw line for 2 as she elevated up into the air. We'll see if this foul is called on. It's on Grace Pyle. That's her first and team foul number 3.
And that's what Harshbarger does. She just flat out puts her head down, goes right to the basket.
Harshbarger this season only a 55% free throw shooter. Her first one and is up and misses off to the left side. She's had a terrific tournament, though, averaging 11.5 per game. 10 points in the win over Valley Center on Thursday. That was the first game of the day, and then 13 last night against Manhattan. And remember, Olathe South rolled Manhattan 62-21, and I've never seen a performance like that from Manhattan. They were not on their game, and Caroline Harshbarger misses both free throws here. Rebound for McPherson, dribbling to the other end. Now down to 20 seconds left. Grace drives. A floater is good. And one as Grace Pyle gallops around the baseline and a chance at a three-point play.
I tell you what, there is no better competitor who is more intense, I should say. Grace Pyle's intensity is just off the charts. She's Pistol Pete's favorite player.
21.2 seconds left to go in the opening quarter, and the Bullpups lead by 13. Grace Pyle will step to the free throw line with a chance at a three-point play. Her first free throw attempt of the night. Hits off the back iron. That one's no good, and a rebound for Lydia Rhodes for Olathe South. Down to 15 seconds left to go in the quarter. They forget about Harshbarger on the other end. Scooping layup is good as she drives the baseline. Harshbarger with her second basket. Down to 7 seconds left. Riley Hett at half court. Back to Grace Pyle, dribbling in with 4. A floater in the lane, no good. It's short. Rebound for Rhodes, and she'll throw up a three-quarter court shot at the buzzer, and that is no good. But a terrific start to this game for McPherson. They lead Olathe South 19-8. Second quarter coming up. We'll do that in 30 seconds. Listening to Bullpup basketball on 96.7 FM, KBBE. Start of the second quarter inside the Roundhouse. Jim Joyner, Steve Sell, 96.7 FM, KBBE. Or to those of you listening at MidKansasOnline.com, McPherson Bullpup basketball is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust. With 3 locations in McPherson to serve you at 101 South Main, 822 North Main, and 1320 North Main. Also brought to you by Farmers Alliance Insurance Company, insuring rural America since 1888. What a start for the Bullpups in quarter number 1. They lead the Olathe South Falcons 19-8. The Bullpups 6 out of 12 from the field, 4 out of 5 from 3. Olathe South 4 for 10 from the field, and 0 for 2 from beyond the arc.
And 11-5 now in rebounds. The stats refresh. Still a big rebounding advantage for the Bullpups.
5 starters on the floor with the exception of Emma Ruddle. Grace Pyle is in her spot. Into the lane, Cassie Cooks draws some contact off the window and good. Cassie Cooks with another basket there. Danny Winslow is in the game for Olathe South and almost picked up her 3rd foul trying to defend Cooks. The Bullpups trapping. They pressure in. Sophie Reed drives in. Shot is blocked. Taken away by Grace Pyle. Trying to run coast to coast, and she's bumped from behind. And that will put Grace Pyle to the free throw line for 2. Or for a 1-and-1.
Grace Pyle is a runaway freight train out there, kind of like the bus in football.
That is team foul number 9 on Olathe South as we are just 29 seconds into the second quarter. Foul is called on Sophie Reed from behind. That's her first. And the big name that we have said a couple of times, Danny Winslow, she is in foul trouble with 2, but she is currently in the game because Olathe South needs an answer. Free throw is up and good by Grace Pyle. She has 6 points.
And she is building a MVP type of resume, even though she does not start. It doesn't matter that she doesn't start. She provides the Bullpups what they need off the bench. Olathe South really discombobulated right now.
Grace knocks down both free throws. The Falcons having a hard time getting across half court again. They finally do. Izzy Pierce drives in, and a charge called going the other way. Cassie Cooks cemented her feet inside the paint, and Izzy Pierce went right through her chest, and the ball goes back to the Bullpups.
Yeah, and right now, Cassie Cooks having a defensive game, just out of her mind. Tremendous defensive effort. 10-3 on foul so far. Schieferecke better get across the court.
Izzy Pierce for Olathe South just picked up her 3rd personal foul, and we have 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Grace Pyle passes into the lane. Cassie Cooks back into the corner. Hett. Schieferecke takes a pass on the wing, drives in, gives it off Grace Pyle. Almost called for a bump. Just over a minute into the second quarter. McPherson leads 23-8. They're trapping Schieferecke out toward half court. She turns it over. Taken away by Harshbarger. Sophie Reed, a layup in transition is good as she finishes with her left hand. That's Reed's first basket. The Bullpups to lead by 13. Here comes Lakin Schieferecke. The Bullpups attacking the basket to our left. Coach Chris Strathman calls out a play. 3-pointer. Grace Pyle from the top. That one's no good, but nearly gets her own miss. Her and Riley Hett run into each other, and now Hett will be called for a bump from behind. Grace had that ball tracked, and Riley Hett cut her off to get there. They didn't communicate on that one, and Riley will be called for her first foul, team foul number 4.
And Grace Pyle is going to come out. She just went about 100 miles an hour for the 5 minutes she was in there.
Olathe South, again, having troubles with this pressure. It was nearly an over and back as Lydia Rhodes caught it on the line. Danny Winslow, they forget about her. She tries a 3. It spins in and out, and a great rebound by Cassie Cooks. Cassie Cooks with a little extra motivation tonight in getting the start. Emma Ruddle spins into the lane. Floater, no good. Bouncing around. There's a foul called, and we'll see who it's on. It'll be on McPherson on the rebound. I didn't see who it's called on. It'll go on Hannah Hageman. That's her first. Team foul number 5.
A lot of fouls in this game. And one thing on that last trip down, Winslow taking the 3, that's good for the Bullpups because if she doesn't make, they have no rebounder in there.
Danny Winslow, a 6'1" player for this Olathe South team, just a junior. And Coach Strathman has talked about her game and how this team is so much better because she doesn't have to bring the ball up the floor like she did in their offense last season. And this is a completely different Olathe South team and a very good Olathe South team. Sophie Reed's pass into the lane for Winslow was intercepted by Hannah Hageman. Another turnover on the Falcons. That's their sixth. Riley had a three. No good on the other end. Cassie Cook shows off her volleyball skills and bats one off the backboard, but she'll be calling for an over-the-back going over the top of Lydia Rhodes, and Cassie picks up her first. Team foul number 6.
Yeah, foul's starting to add up for both teams, and that favors the Bullpups because we know how good their depth is.
5:36 left to go in the second quarter. McPherson leading by 13, 23-10 here in the Mid-America Classic Championship game here tonight. Trying to win their second straight title. Driving in, Reagan Halliday draws some contact, and a foul is called. That'll put her to the free throw line for 2. She drove down the left side of the lane, and the block will be called on Hannah Hageman, and that is her second. She's the first Bullpup to reach 2 fouls.
And Olathe South definitely in attack mode on the offensive end.
Reagan Halliday will step to the free throw line. Scored 11 points in the win over Manhattan yesterday, and the Falcons missed their 3rd consecutive free throw.
And she is just a freshman, I believe.
She is just a freshman.
They have 2 freshmen.
And they're both named Reagan.
Okay.
And they both have an A and an E at the beginning of their name, but they have it backwards on different players. Reagan Ponzer is R-E-A. Reagan Halliday is R-A-E. Interesting.
And Grace Pyle coming in.
Halliday makes the second, so 1 for 2 there. Grace Pyle will check in for Lake and Schiefer. 23-11. McPherson leads Olathe South.
You just wonder, 3rd game in 3 nights, how heavy are the legs for both teams?
I'm sure they are a little bit lighter for McPherson in terms of staying at home, sleeping in your own bed. That makes a big difference. Olathe South has been here on the road all week. Emma Ruddle passes into the right corner. Hannah Hageman gets her three-pointer blocked, but then gets the ball right back. Pyle fakes on a 3, gets hit in the lane, shot's no good, gets her own rebound. Grace dribbles out to the perimeter, and they get a second chance. Grace Pyle, back door. Andrea Sweat had a chance at a layup. Kicks it out, Emma Ruddle. One more time into the right corner. Hageman a 3. This one misses everything, but out of bounds off of Olathe South, and the Bullpups will keep it. What a great possession there.
Coach Strathman, even though we threw an air ball up there, Coach Strathman's going to be happy because the ball movement was fantastic. He knows those kind of shots are going to fall. Watch the Bullpups on the inbounds play. They're great at scoring.
Inbounding on the baseline. Grace will find Andrea Sweat. They try to get it back to her, but it's tipped off of the Falcons last. And again, it will stick with the Bullpups on that baseline. Approaching the halfway mark of the second quarter, the Bullpups lead Olathe South 23-11.
One thing I've noticed, Olathe South likes to jump the passing lane. When the Bullpups do that shuttle handoff, they're cutting it off.
She'll inbound to Emma Ruddle. Dribbles to the top of the circle. Picks up her dribble. Into the lane, Andrea Sweat, and that pass is cut off and deflected and stolen. Here comes Sophie Reed for the Falcons to the other end. Stops on the right wing, back to Harshbarger. Left open, a 3. Misses off to the left side, and another rebound by Grace Pyle. That is her 7th rebound, and we're in the first half. Grace dribbling coast to coast and scores! And she slides into the photographers over on the end to our left. She was going 100 miles an hour. 25-11. Grace Pyle up to 9 points. And the Bullpups keep this game at a high speed. Reagan Ponzer a 3 on the other end for the Falcons, no good. And a rebound by Hannah Hageman. She's been all over the boards as well. Grace Pyle dribbling in traffic. Back to Emma Ruddle. Fakes on a 3. Had a good look there, but passes up on it. Halfway through the second quarter, McPherson leads Olathe South 25-11. Andrea Sweat working into the lane. A little 12-foot floater. No. Offensive rebound. Hageman gets it back, goes up, and scores. The Bullpups lead it by 16, 27-11, and the Falcons are frustrated.
And Danny Winslow coming back in. I think Coach Allen realizes this game is getting away from his team.
Reagan Ponzer crosses the court with a pass. Sophie Reed drives in, and they will call a hand check on McPherson. I thought they were almost going to call Reed for a travel, and Sophie Reed is gassed. You can see her bending over after driving in. That will be called on Andrea Sweat, her first.
Yeah, and South is bringing in some reinforcements. This pace is wearing them down. They don't see this kind of speed back east.
I know they haven't seen it from Olathe East this year.
Your Mighty Hawks.
The Falcons beat them earlier this year, 46-34. Like I mentioned, they are 6-0 against teams from the Sunflower League, and we talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast as well. This is an Olathe South program that has made the state tournament 14 consecutive seasons. And right now they're in a prime position to do so again as currently the number 1 seed in 6A on the east side, and Sophie Reed, first of the 1-1, is good.
And that's why the Bullpups wanted this game. They wanted a chance to make a statement win tonight, and they've certainly done that in the first half.
Reed knocks down both. She's got 4 points. She has 4. Caroline Harshbarger has 4, and Sophie Reed will get a well-deserved break as she was gassed for the last 2 minutes as she was on the floor.
They're so tired they can't even slap each other's hand when they come out of the game. They're gasping to get to the bench.
27-13 McPherson, 3.5 left to go in the second quarter. Bullpups trying to win their second consecutive Mid-America Classic, the first time that they could do that since 2006 and 2007. Grace Pyle, they switched the wrong way. A three-pointer goes too strong, and a rebound for Izzy Pierce. Remember, she's playing with 3 fouls. Pierce dribbling in, left hand, shot is blocked by the rim as she misses it short, and a rebound by Lakin Schieferecke. Olathe South going very fast as well. Sweat into the corner. Ruddle, a three-pointer. This one misses everything. Rebound bouncing around. Grabbed by the Falcons and Mandy Truitt, and they outlet up the floor for Danny Winslow. Now Halliday, Avery Halliday steps in and misses a runner. The Bullpups have got this game at the pace that they want. Schieferecke bumps while going in, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2. Now who is this foul on? It's on Danny Winslow, and that is her third. Third foul with 2:45 left to go in the first half, and Coach Allen made a gamble. And really it was the right gamble to put her back in the game because they need her presence on the floor, but she just picked up her third foul. And this might be it for her for a little bit in this game. First free throw by Schieferecke's good.
And I think she got that foul just because of the pace of the game. And she is just as, I didn't even do anything. Well, she pushed from behind. We could all see that.
Schieferecke knocks down the first. Lakin has made 1 3-pointer in the game, so that brings her up to 4 points. 3 rebounds as well for the junior point guard, and knocks down both there. 29-13, 2:45 left to go in this first half. And Lydia Rhodes finds Avery Halliday on the backside. She gets matched up with Cassidy Beam. They lose her on the backside. She's fouled. And now Avery Halliday will step to the line for 2.
And so far, the free throw line not very kind to the Falcons, just 50%.
3 out of 6. Avery Halliday, a 5'4" junior, only has taken 3 free throws coming into this tournament and has made 1 of them. First one is good.
And the big differential right now, 3-point shooting. Bullpups 12 points from beyond the arc. The Falcons 0.
Second one coming up for Avery Halliday. Nothing but net.
And you know, it's interesting. She shot those free throws. Her feet are so close together. I don't know how she has good balance, but boy, those look good, leaving her hand both times.
Bullpups trying to finish this first half strong as they lead by 14. And they have led from start to finish here in this one. Or at least start until this point in the game. Grace Pyle up top. Hesitates on the left side. Scoops a pass back out to the right wing. Schieferecke steps into a high arching 3. This one's left short. Rebound bouncing around. Grabbed by Izzy Pierce as she was fighting with Cassidy Beam. Here comes Pierce in transition. Passes to the left. Gives it into the corner. Harshbarger high arching 3. No good. And a rebound on the backside by Cassidy Beam, the sophomore.
Oh, I know. The Bullpups really want to go and try to make hay while they can with Winslow on the bench because she'll be on the bench to start the second half. Look at Grace.
Running down the left side of the rim, floats up a shot with the right hand. It's no good. Rebound Ponzer to the other end. Harshbarger in the right corner. Thought about driving in. Gives it off Truitt. She's going to be called for a travel underneath. Great call down there on the baseline by superfan Mike Roush. He was all over it.
I think Grace is kind of gassed right now. She was really slow and coming back up. When she's out there, I mean, she goes only 1 speed, and that is just wide open speed. And sometimes, you know, she has to get a rest every now and then. But she looks like she's kind of gassed a little bit.
Lakin Schieferecke passes to the left wing for Cassidy Beam. They wanted to get the basketball back to Schieferecke, but Beam will dribble out top. Cassidy Beam has done a great job in her role so far this season as a sophomore, and really the 3rd or 4th player off the bench. But the Bullpups without Maggie Leaf tonight, and more players are having to step up. Maggie Leaf has done a great job scoring in this tournament so far, games of 8 and 7. And also, she had 8 offensive rebounds last night. Cassidy Beam avoids the 5 count. Everybody here was starting to panic. Down to 1:10 left to go in the first half, 29-15. Grace Pyle dribbles into the corner. Thought about driving the baseline, but ran out of room. Now she has an open look from 3. Off the back iron, no, and a rebound for Lydia Rhodes. 1 minute left to go in the second quarter. McPherson leads by 14. Harshbarger back to Ponzer. Can't leave her open. A 3 is good. Reagan Ponzer, just a freshman. They saw her this morning in the 3-point contest. She drills it. She's a 33% 3-point shooter, and this makes it an 11-point game.
7-2 run for the Falcons.
Bullpups want to close out the first half strong. Back to Schieferecke on the right wing. Schieferecke stops at the left elbow. Back to Grace Pyle on the left wing. Down to 30 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
Coach Strappin wants one shot. The Bullpups started out 4 for 4 from 3. They have missed their last 8.
20 seconds left now to go in the half. 29-18, and wouldn't the Bullpups love to see a three-pointer here. And Coach Strathman will get a timeout with 15.1 left to go in this second quarter because they want to get a good look here. And, Steve, you just get the feeling with the momentum of this game, if the Bullpups could knock down a shot here, take a little bit of energy away from the Falcons, that going into the break, this could be a very different game than it would be if Olathe South felt energized and maybe got a stop on a score.
Well, you're right, and the Bullpups really came at a frenetic pace, and I think the adrenaline is kind of worn off because they're starting to miss shots now. They're down to 9 of 27, for the half. That's only 33%, and like I said, now they've missed their last 9 threes as the stats refreshing. So they have missed their last 9 threes, and Olathe South on a nice little run here, 7-2.
15.1 left to go in the second quarter, and the Bullpups out of the timeout. They're a little slow to get out of the break, but here they come. They've got a chance to hold
the ball down.
They've got a chance to hold for the final shot of this first half. Riley Hett into the backcourt for Lake and Schieferecke. She is defended by Caroline Harshbarger. Down to 10 seconds left. Schieferecke to the right wing. The Bullpups want to make sure they take the last shot. Top of the circle, Hett swings it into the corner. Sweat pumps for 3, pulls up from 15 and buries it. Andrea Sweat on the baseline, and the first half ends with a bang. The Bullpups lead Olathe South 31-18 here in the Mid-America Classic Championship game. And Steve, after the poor shooting that we saw from this McPherson team last night against Ulysses, I think they have completely scrapped the thought of last night's game.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, the percentage doesn't look that great, but they have hit very clutch shots, and defensively, they've just been outstanding.
What a performance by this McPherson team in the first half. Grace Pyle finishes with 9 points. 6 for Riley Hett on 2 threes at the very beginning. Lake and Schieferecke has 5. Andrea Sweat knocked down a free throw, and that last bucket there. Cassie Cooks with 4 points. And then 2 for Hannah Hageman and Emma Ruddle, as the Bullpups shoot at 36% from the field, 10 out of 28, 4 out of 13 for 3, and 7 out of 11 at the free throw line. Olathe South, 32% from the field, 14% from 3 at 1 for 7, and 5 out of 8 at the free throw line. Statistically, Steve, the Bullpups dominated this box score, and I think the one thing that will stand out going into the second half is the fact that Olathe South is in a ton of foul trouble.
Well, their best player has 3 fouls. Their outstanding guard has 3 fouls. It's just been, and the thing is, the fouls are almost even. I think there's only 1 foul differential, maybe. I think it was like 10-9.
11-9.
11-9, just 2 fouls. But the difference is that South's fouls were on their really good players.
The Bullpups lead Olathe South 31-18 here at halftime. We'll step aside and be back in 3 minutes to continue with our Prairie Land Partners halftime show. You're listening to Bullpup Basketball on 96.7 FM, KBBE. For Danny Winslow, the Bullpups lead Olathe South 31-18 at the halftime break. The Bullpups now 1 half away. And Steve, as we look into the second half, the one thing that has been weird about this McPherson team over the last 2 years with me seeing them is every now and then they haven't been able to put teams away whenever they want to put them away. Now, they've been good at finishing down the stretch, but the chance right now is here in the third quarter to put this game away, take Olathe South's momentum and energy out of it completely, and if they could get Danny Winslow to 4 fouls quickly, they might just do that there. But I think it's so important in a championship game like this to give Olathe South no hope. You have to go punch them in the mouth to begin this second half.
Well, I think the first thing you do is you identify who is guarding or who Danny Winslow is guarding, and you go right to that player. You try to get that 4th foul as soon as you can, and the thing is, she's pretty anxious right now. She's used to getting a lot of shots off. She's a volume shooter, and when she doesn't get her shot, she gets a little itchy, and you got to think that, she's going to try and make something happen. Her team's down 13. There are no 13-point plays in basketball. You have to chip away and do it a little bit at a time, and I think the first couple minutes of the second half, if the Bullpups come out and get like a 5-0, 6-0 run, they can end this game right here. But if South comes out, has like a 7-2 run like they did near the end of the half, we got us a ball game.
The Bullpups have got to keep their foot on the gas. They lead Olathe South 31-18 as we are just about ready to start this second half. Steve, what a great crowd here tonight. It's very similar to the crowd that we saw last night. Not a huge crowd by any means, but a very involved crowd, a very loud crowd, and I think they've been a big factor so far.
Oh, I think so, too. Again, like I say, not big numbers in the crowd, but a pretty good crowd and a loud crowd. And great student section. You got the band here tonight. And, again, just recognize where Winslow is on the floor, and I think you take it right to her.
We've got to give some credit to Cassie Cooks as well, because 24 hours ago she didn't know she would be starting this game. But when you have somebody that has played as many games as Cassie Cooks and has started as many as she has, this has been a struggling and a frustrating year for her. And to be able to come out and play the way that she has tonight shows a lot about the pride and the courageousness of Cassie Cooks.
Yeah, and Olathe South will get the ball to start the third quarter. Is that right?
The Bullpups will have it.
Okay, that seems odd because...
Or never mind, the Olathe South now will have it.
Yeah.
They all look like they were on defense.
Yeah.
Olathe South, their same starting five: Danny Winslow, Reagan Halliday, Caroline Harshbarger, Sophie Reed, and Izzy Pierce. Pierce and Winslow have 3 fouls. The Bullpups with their original 5. Emma Ruddle, Lakin Schieferecke, Hannah Hageman, Riley Hett, and Cassie Cooks. The Falcons now attacking the basket to our left in their home white jerseys as the number 1 seed. Emma Ruddle gets a hand on the pass. She's at half court. Ruddle dribbling in, floats up a shot in the lane, too strong, and she will be called for a charge. That's her second foul, and team foul number 1 on the Bullpups here in the second half.
Well, I think she just needed to take it right onto the basket instead of pulling up. At the least, I think she would have drawn a foul.
Bullpups set up the full court pressure just underway in the second half. McPherson leads by 13, 31-18. Danny Winslow passes here to the near side. Now Lakin Schieferecke gets a hand on the pass and steals it. The Bullpups with back-to-back turnovers facing this pressure. Lakin Schieferecke draws contact, left hand off the backboard and good. It was nearly foul number 4 on Danny Winslow, but Lakin Schieferecke too strong on the left side. The Bullpups lead by 15, 33-18. Emma Ruddle with the task of guarding Danny Winslow. And Emma's giving up 4 or 5 inches of height now. Now they'll switch back to Hannah Hageman. And Hannah draws a lot of these assignments with players that are bigger than her and players that are faster than her and, more importantly, taller. But Hannah Hageman has done a great job in these roles, including players like Kennedy Brown defending her. Carolina Harshbarger now drives into the lane for the Falcons and finishes. She has 6 points off the backboard there.
Very nifty scoop shot there. Scoop of ice cream there.
33-20, 6:45 left to go, third quarter. Emma Ruddle on the left wing gets a high screen from Riley Hett. She tries to get it to Hett. Taken away by Sophie Reed. Dribbling to the other end. A floater is good, but they will call the foul on the floor. And the Falcons fans are saying, hey, how about a little continuation there?
Too many of those kind of turnovers for the Bullpups, though, in this tournament where they just kind of made a casual pass and got knocked away and stolen.
South will inbound on the baseline to our left. They get it into the right corner for Reagan Halliday, being defended by Emma Ruddle. Halliday drives in, floater's no good. Nice defense and a rebound by Emma Ruddle. That's her second board. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists for the junior Emma Ruddle. Hannah Hageman, great move, drives the baseline, and the layup is no good. She missed it too strong. Hannah Hageman was wide open with it. I don't think she anticipated being that open. Halliday dribbles in, hands off Harshbarger. Back to the top of the circle, Sophie Reed. Tries to dump it into the lane. Winslow, great defense by Hannah Hageman as she fronted the 6'1" Danny Winslow. Got a hand on the ball and almost palmed it. Great defense by Hannah on that play. Ball knocked out of bounds. Bullpups will keep it.
And Coach Stratman wasting no time going to that bench, bringing in Pyle, bringing in Sweat. Both were very effective. You know, Coach Stratman does not like to break up his starting lineup unless there's an injury. He's a creature of habit. He likes to go. And Coach Kinnaman's the same way. They do not like to change their starting lineup. If it's broke, don't fix it. It doesn't matter who starts. That makes no difference. It's who's on the floor at the important times of the game. 33-20, McPherson leads. 2 minutes into the second half. Lakin Schieferecke directing traffic. Passes up top for Andrea Sweat. Sweat trying to get the ball inside for Hannah Hageman as she's calling for it. Turns around, and the lane, no good. And a rebound for Danny Winslow. Great look there for Hannah, and a great move. Just couldn't get the roll. Halliday dribbling in coast to coast, gives it off Mandy Truitt, and she scores. Nice breakaway and turnaround there as the Falcons swing 4 points. It's 33-22. Lakin Schieferecke and the Bullpups resetting the offense here. Schieferecke as well as Hannah Hageman, Grace Pyle, Andrea Sweat, and Riley Hett, the 5 on the floor. Schieferecke with the pass to the top for Andrea Sweat. Hageman still going to work down low, and she has a little mismatch with Caroline Harshbarger. Right wing, Schieferecke thinks about a 3, hesitates, drives in, floater, no. Rebound for Truitt. Great board there for the Falcons, and now Olathe South can make this a single-digit game.
Reagan Halliday stops at the elbow, hands off Harshbarger. Back to the left wing for Reagan Ponzer. She's the freshman sharpshooter. She's already made one three-pointer. They can't let her get open. Into the left corner, Harshbarger being defended by Riley Hett. 4:50 left to go, third quarter. 33-22, McPherson leads here in the Mid-America Classic Championship game. Ponzer from way downtown and buries it. My goodness. Stepping into a deep, and I mean deep, three-pointer, and a timeout taken by the Bullpups. And just like that, the Falcons open up the second half by going on a 7-2 run, kind of like what Steve said at halftime. He said, you can't let them start this half on a 7-2 run. They do so. And look at the energy on that Olathe South bench. They feel like they're back in it.
It adds energy to Olathe South, and the Bullpups all of a sudden, they're kind of playing not to lose. But you can't say that, they're being too careful. They've missed 3 point-blank shots. Hannah Hageman's had 2 layups right at the basket. Couldn't get them to go. Great looks, but, she's not used to playing inside. She's used to being on the perimeter, and they're used to having Maggie Leaf inside, Cassie Cooks inside. But Hannah, because of the injury to Maggie Leaf, is having to play the 5 spot, and she's taking some shots that she's not accustomed to.
33-25 McPherson, 4:38 left to go in the third quarter, and we are a long way from this one being over.
Well, Truitt's given them some really nice minutes, and now she is out of the game. I thought she did a real nice job when she was in there.
And she didn't give them a ton in the first 2 games because of the effect and the impact of Danny Winslow. They didn't need Mandy Truitt. Grace Pyle, top of the circle for McPherson, going to the end to our left. Pyle dribbles in, and she misses a runner. And a rebound for Danny Winslow. South can make this a 2-possession game. Here's Winslow. Stops at the top of the circle and gives it off to Reagan Halliday. They'll call for a new play, being defended by Grace Pyle. Almost halfway through the third quarter, and the Bullpups have only scored 2 points. Halliday on the right wing. They'll go up top. Danny Winslow into the lane. Harshbarger catches on the left block. Spinning. Nice defense by Andrea Sweat. Forces a miss. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Lydia Rhodes. And back to McPherson.
We talked to Coach Strathman this morning. He says, you're going to have stretches where the shots don't go. Well, the Bullpups are in one of those droughts again. Remember last night, they missed 18 shots in a row.
Baseball pass by Grace Pyle. Dribbling in, Schieferecke. Kicks out right wing. Sweat a 3. No good. Rebound, though, on the offensive glass by Schieferecke. Pulls up from 15 at the elbow. No good. Another offensive rebound by Hannah Hageman. And the Bullpups get a third chance. Grace Pyle, top of the circle. Crosses over. Drives down the left side. Kicks it out left corner. Schieferecke a 3. It's good. But they will say...
Andrea Sweat, 3 seconds.
A 3-second call on Andrea Sweat, and that's a backbreaker.
Wipe off the three-pointer that would have pushed the lead back to 11.
And that would have been a huge make right there for Schieferecke. She took the shot in stride. 3:25 left to go in the third. Deflection by Grace Pyle, but Olathe South crosses the time stripe. Halliday drives the baseline. Thought about a reverse layup. Harshbarger open 3 in the corner. It is good. Harshbarger has 9, and it's 33-28.
Wow. Just like that, we've gone from 15 to 10, or to 5, excuse me.
Andrea Sweat on the left wing. Bullpups need an answer. Sweat drives the baseline, spins on the block, throws up a shot. She's fouled by Lydia Rhodes, and Andrea Sweat will go to the free throw line for 2. Nice take by Sweat there. That's just the first foul on the Falcons here in the second half. 2 on the Bullpups so far, and 1 on Olathe South. And Andrea Sweat will have 2 free throws.
One thing the Falcons are doing now, they're starting to make threes, and they didn't do that in the first half.
Now 3 out of 9 at the free throw line. First free throw by Andrea Sweat is no good.
Well, she couldn't miss in the free throw competition today, and now she can't make once we get into the game for real here.
Cassie Cooks will check back into the game for Hannah Hageman. The Bullpups trying to take a deep breath, get some answers on their offensive end. 33-28. Second free throw for Andrea Sweat. 2 dribbles, 1 dribble and a shot, and she knocks it down.
Time for the Bullpup defense to create some offense.
And create some turnovers here in this second half. Reagan Halliday being defended by Grace Pyle, trapped in a double team, but they get it across for Reagan Ponzer. Winslow, a 3 from the top. That one's no good, and another rebound by Grace Pyle. That is her 8th board of the game. 34-28, 2:40 left to go in the third. Lakin Schieferecke on the right wing, being defended by Caroline Harshbarger. Pass nearly thrown into the backcourt. Riley Hett falls on the half-court line. They kick it into the corner. Grace Pyle nearly blocked. Pyle kicks. Riley Hett a 3 from the right wing. It's good! Nothing but net for Riley Hett. That's her third three-pointer, and the Bullpups retake the lead by 9. And Coach Strathman saying, hold on the defensive pressure. They'll trap Halliday at half court. It's stolen by Andrea Sweat into a 2-on-2. Riley Hett steps it in an open three, trying to make it 2 for 2. This one's no good. Gets her own miss. Riley drives in. She's bumped down to the floor, misses a shot, and it will go back to Olathe South.
And Riley Hett is out of gas.
She's got 9 points and 3 3-pointers, and if she would have made that layup, I think the roof would have exploded.
She would have made that 3, the roof would have exploded before the layup.
Anna Hageman checks back in for Lake and Schiefer. 2:01 to go in the third. 37-28. McPherson leads. Bullpup set up a full-court pressure. Harshbarger has to go backwards, gives it off Reagan Ponzer, and now up the floor for Harshbarger. Now to Winslow. Winslow's only scored 2 points in this game, just 1 basket, and she's their leading scorer at 15 a game. Sophie Reed drives in, and she is fouled. That'll put her to the line for 2. Team foul number 3 on the Bullpups. We'll see who this one is called on. It's on Grace Pyle. That's her second.
And South struggled early from the line, but they've kind of picked it up here.
Now 5 out of 8. Sophie Reed steps to the stripe, and her first one is off the back iron. She was 2 for 2 at the stripe so far this game, and is normally a 70% free throw shooter, but misses the first one.
And Lake and Schieferecke is run back to the locker room for what reason, we do not know.
Second one is good by Sophie Reed. She has 5 points, 37-29 McPherson. Grace Pyle will run the point. Drives right down the heart of the defense. Passes into the corner. Back up top. Riley had another look from 3. No good. Rebound bouncing around. Who's got it? Danny Winslow for Olathe South. The long arms for Emma Ruddle were in the mix. But now the Falcons leaking to the other end. Harshbarger drives the baseline. Picks up her dribble. Running out of room and finally gives it off for Lydia Rhodes. 1:20 to go in the third. The Bullpups lead Olathe South by 8. The Bullpups have the scout on Olathe South as they call out a play, and the bench immediately tells them where the basketball's going. Ponzer dribbles in. Back to Harshbarger in the corner. Winslow matched up on Andrea Sweat. Winslow spinning in, and the travel's called. Danny Winslow very frustrated in this game because this is a player that normally takes 14, 15 shots a game, but tonight she's only taken 3.
Yeah, she's getting itchy. You know, scorers want the ball in their hands.
Emma Ruddle and the Bullpups trying to break this Olathe South pressure now. Grace Pyle with a long pass over the top. Ruddle, backdoor, Andrea Sweat misses a layup. Offensive rebound, Emma Ruddle is fouled, and Emma will go to the free throw line for 2. The Bullpups dominating on the offensive glass. That's their 13th offensive rebound. Olathe South only has 19 as a team, and Ruddle will have 2 free throws.
If the Bullpups could make a layup, they'd be up 20. They have missed about 5 layups.
First free throw for Emma Ruddle is good. 3 points for the junior. And she had a terrific Mid-America Classic a season ago. 12 points, 4 points, and 3 points so far this weekend. 5 and 4 in their 2 games. And make it 4 in this one as she knocks down both free throws. The Bullpups re-stretch that lead out to 10, 39-29. 45 seconds left to go in the third. Trying to take a big lead into this fourth quarter. And a chance to hold on and win another championship. And there's a steal by Riley Hett. 1-on-1 to the other end. Hett draws some contact, stops on the block, runs out of room. Riley Hett gets the ball back into the left corner. Ruddle fakes on a 3, stepping in. Now floats a pass here to the wing for Hett. It's deflected by Sophie Reed, but touched by Riley Last, and back to Olathe South.
Yeah, Riley Hett just needed to take that ball up. She was going to be fouled. She had the position, and she looked around. That could have been a big swing there for the Bullpups. Instead, South dodges a bullet.
26.4 seconds left to go here in the third quarter as Coach Strathman tells the Bullpups they've got a hold on this final possession before we get to the fourth quarter. 39-29 McPherson.
You just wonder if South is going to be getting very tired here. They don't play a lot of people.
Emma Ruddle jumps and gets another steal. Up the floor. Grace Pyle dribbling in, loses it out of bounds, and back to Olathe South. Nice defense, though, by the Falcons to recover, but Grace Pyle almost had a chance to dribble down the baseline and score. Down to 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Olathe South, I don't think they recognize it yet. Bullpups lead by 10. Down to 6 seconds. Down to 5 seconds. Harshbarger pulls up from 15. Too strong. Rebound bounces around. It's an offensive foul on the board on Sophie Reed with 1.4 left to go in the third. The Bullpups lead by 10. Lake and Schieferecke will check back in, and we'll see if Hannah Hageman can throw this ball all the way to the other end of the floor. 1.4 left. They'd love to be able to steal some points here, but might be a little bit too far. They'll inbound to Riley Hett. We're through 3 quarters in the Mid-America Classic Championship game. The Bullpups lead Olathe South 39-29. They can smell a second consecutive championship. We'll find out in 30 seconds what happens in the fourth quarter. We're back after this. You're listening to Bullpup Basketball, 96.7 FM, KBBE.
Is there.
Start of the fourth quarter here inside the Roundhouse. It is loud, it is rocking, and the Bullpups are feeling like champions today. They are 8 minutes away as they lead Olathe South 39-29. Jim Joyner, Steve Sell. Steve, this has been a very solid 3 quarters from this McPherson team. But what have we said all year with these McPherson teams? Finding ways to finish down the stretch, and I think these first 2 or 3 minutes of this fourth quarter are very important.
I think the first basket is huge. It's either 12 or 13, or it's 8 or 7. That is just a huge differential. Bullpups now from the field just shooting 30% and just 2 of 12 from, that's not correct, 5 of 17 from 3.
There you go. Bullpups will start the fourth quarter with the basketball and a 10-point lead. 5 starters on the floor. Schieferecke passes to the right wing for Hageman. The Bullpups leading 39-29 and trying to hang on here against the always pesky Olathe South Falcons here inside the Roundhouse. The Falcons in this building are 18-2 in their 7 Mid-America Classics. Schieferecke and the Bullpups dribbling around the perimeter. Lakin steps in, gets fouled from behind, and she will go to the free throw line for 2. The Bullpups were holding out there for a moment, but Lakin saw the opening, gets fouled from behind by Sophie Reed, and the team's best free throw shooter and the best free throw shooter in this tournament will step to the line for 2.
Well, I'm always a big believer. You keep the foot on the gas, you play to win, you don't play not to lose. And that's what I want to see the Bullpups keep attacking. And Schieferecke's the one you want with the ball in her hands because she's the steadiest player out there.
Schieferecke has been the steadiest player for this McPherson team all year, the leading scorer at 10 points per game, the leading assister on this team, and the second one is good. Knocking both down, calm, cool, collected. 41-29 McPherson. Bullpups leading by a dozen. The largest lead they've had in this game was 16. That was about halfway through the second quarter. Danny Winslow, top of the circle, playing with 3 fouls. Drives in, floater off the backboard's no good, but they will call a push, and Winslow will go to the free throw line for 2.
And Winslow can actually play with a little more reckless abandon because she did not pick up that 4th foul, and Sweat's going to come right back in. They're going to get Hageman out because she just got her 3rd foul.
First free throw for Danny Winslow is way too strong off the back iron and shooting right into the Bullpup student section.
I don't see the bus in there. Is the bus in there somewhere?
I don't know. It is a Western theme for some of the people.
Well, I know Scott Radke because I can see the hair.
See a lot of basketball guys as well. Winslow's second is good. Danny Winslow with only 3 points. The player that might end up being the tournament MVP has been held to 3 here in this championship game so far. Bullpups lead by 11. Schieferecke ball in her hands. Over to the left wing, Emma Ruddle. Back up top, Andrea Sweat with a crossover move. Going to work on Izzy Pierce. Down low, Cassie Cooks off the window and good. Perfect positioning for Cassie Cooks as she scores her 3rd basket. Bullpups lead by 13. Reagan Halliday being defended by Emma Ruddle. The Falcons down to 6:45 to go, and they need answers on their offensive end. What a performance by Cassie Cooks on the offensive side and on the defensive side tonight. Probably her best game of her junior season. Harshbarger nearly double dribbles, gets the ball at the elbow to Izzy Pierce, steps in and throws up a crazy pass to Winslow, a 3. That one's short, rebound bouncing around and corralled by the Falcons. Halliday in the left corner. Reagan Halliday has done a great job for this Olathe South team today as well as their main ball handler. Halliday passes right corner, Harshbarger. They can't leave her open either. Reed drives in, and they will call a foul. I'm not sure if this will be in the act of shooting. I don't think it will be. Foul is called on Schieferecke. That's her second. Team foul number 5 on McPherson. 6:15 to go. So the Bullpups in no immediate foul trouble at this moment. 3 fouls for Hannah Hageman, but that's it. Izzy Pierce into the lane. Sophie Reed spinning around into a triple team. Gets blocked, but they will call a foul there. I believe it will go on Cassie Cooks. So this will put Sophie Reed to the free throw line for 2. It is on Cooks, her second. The Falcons now 1 free throw away from being in the bonus, but they get 2 free throws here from Sophie Reed, who's 3 out of 4 at the line so far tonight. It knocks it down. Sophie Reed, the Falcons' leading scorer, Harshbarger's leading scorer at 9, but Sophie Reed is now up to 6. Games of 7, 2, and now 6 in this tournament. And the second one is good as well. Bullpups now lead by 11, 6:10 to go. trying to pick up their second consecutive Mid-America Classic championship and also win their 9th consecutive game. Their only loss this season came to the number 1 team in this state, the Derby Panthers. Backdoor, Lakin Schieferecke drives the baseline, gets stripped, gets the ball back, and a push will be called on Sophie Reed. That's team foul number 5, and Sophie picks up her 4th.
And that would be really big. If they lose her, now I think she is going to come out. I tell you, if you're Olathe South, I just don't think you can hold anything back. I mean, you're down 11. You got to make a run. You got to have your best players on the floor no matter what.
Here's McPherson's chance to put this game away right now. They lead by 11 with 6 to go. Riley Hett dribbles in, kicks out to Sweat. Had a chance at a 3 there, but bobbled the pass, and it might have been a break as Sweat loses the ball, throws it up to Grace Pyle at half court, and she saves it just in time. The Bullpups reset. Coach Trafford might want to take a timeout here because they are just running around in circles. Here's Grace Pyle. Now they're reset. 5.5 to go. Bullpups lead by 11. Pyle crosses over. So far in this game, she's got 9. Now Riley Hett with a pass back out to Lakin Schieferecke. Lakin with 9, Riley with 9, Grace Pyle with 9, and now Lakin drives in and throws a pass right into the hands of her coach Chris Strathman, and he was not happy to be on the receiving end of that one.
Yeah, we've seen Lakin in this tournament have more turnovers than we're accustomed to seeing her, but the thing is she's playing so many minutes. You're going to have turnovers.
Reagan Halliday and the Falcons go back to the end to our left. The Falcons, the home team in this game, wearing the white uniforms as the number 1 seed. They have yet to lose this year. Winslow, pass to Harshbarger, goes in and out of her hands, and you can see some of that frustration setting in. Ball goes out of bounds, back to McPherson. 5:03 to go, and the Bullpups, Steve, are about 2 baskets away right now from putting this away.
Yeah, they need to get an easy one here, just some kind of backdoor, maybe get it down to Cassie Cooks for a layup.
Lakin Schieferecke crosses the time stripe as the Bullpups are trying to hang on for the championship here in their own tournament for the 12th time in 24 years. And the pass to Riley Hett goes a little bit too strong, and a turnover on McPherson. Ball back to Olathe South. Hannah Hageman will come in.
That's going to get Andrea Sweat a spot on the bench because she turned it over the last 2 times she touched it. And just got to be careful with the basketball. Just very casual with it.
Down to 4:44 to go. The Bullpups lead by 11 and trying to hang on. One thing they can't do here is give Olathe South open looks from 3. Halliday drives down the right side, floating shot, no. Offensive rebound off the fingertips of Danny Winslow, out of bounds on the baseline, and back to McPherson. Empty possessions here for Olathe South, and the Bullpups have got to capitalize here.
Yeah, and Winslow almost could have got her 4th foul. She came right over the top, and they let that one go.
This game drastically changed in the first half when Danny Winslow came back in the game with 2 fouls, picked up her 3rd, and had to play very cautious in that 3rd quarter. Grace Pyle blows past everybody, running, layup is good! Grace Pyle's got 11. She leads all McPherson scorers here tonight, and they lead by 13. They need another stop and a score. Here's Izzy Pierce, dribbling into the lane, drawing contact on Cassie Cooks. Shot's no good. Rebound bouncing around, and grabbed by Grace Pyle. 11 points and 9 rebounds for the sophomore Grace Pyle. She had a career-high 13 points last night in the win over Ulysses. Pyle kicks it into the left corner. Riley Hett tracks down the basketball. She's made 3 threes in the game. Now to Hageman, had an open look from 3, but passes up on it over halfway through the 4th quarter.
You don't need to shoot the basketball. You got to make South come out and get you.
45-32. Schieferecke behind her back. Floater off the backboard, no good. But she's fouled and will go to the free throw line for 2. Foul is called on Reagan Ponzer for Olathe South. That is team foul number 6 on the Falcons. 3:37 to go. And Lakin Schieferecke, the best free throw shooter, is at the stripe.
Well, I think if the Bullpups hold on to win this game, the story of the game is going to be their defense. Their defense has just been spectacular tonight.
Lakin Schieferecke calmly steps up and knocks down the first. Lakin, the junior point guard, is playing in her 59th game of her career. And she has been steady through all of those 59 games. And building one heck of a resume, here's the Bullpups. Second one for Schieferecke is good. You didn't have any doubt on that one. Lakin's got 11. Grace Pyle with 11. Riley Hett with 9. And the Bullpups lead by 15. Danny Winslow dribbles down the right side. Now she's trying to get aggressive. Passes up on the right wing. Back to Halliday. Driving in. Gets blocked by Andrea Sweat. You can't go over 6'1", and Andrea Sweat with all ball there. 3:15 to go, and the Bullpups lead by 15. Andrea drives the baseline, reverse layup in and out, and a great chance for points there. Now Olathe South almost throws this one to the top of the roundhouse, and a turnover on the Falcons.
Yeah, Olathe South, they're panicking now. just over 3 minutes to go. Now if you're the Bullpups, you don't even take a shot. You just go to the free throw line the final 3 minutes. And, of course, Schieferecke with the ball in her hands. She could be the tourney MVP.
Lakin drives, kicks, left corner of Grace Pyle, a three, no good, bounces off the rim twice, and now a foul will be called on the rebound, and the Bullpups will have just put Olathe out of the bonus. Team foul number 7, and it will be called on Riley Hett. 1-1 coming up for Reagan Halliday.
And Coach Strathman's telling his team why. We are up 15 points. We do not even need to shoot the basketball.
So Halliday will step to the line for the Falcons. 47-32, 2:56 left to go. And at some point here pretty soon, Olathe South will have to begin fouling because I don't know if the Bullpups will take many more shots. Halliday's free throw's no good. Offensive rebound, though, for the Falcons and Lydia Rhodes. Olathe South resets. 47-32, deep three. Reagan Ponzer, no good. Rebound, though, for Danny Winslow over the top. She gets fouled, throws up a shot. It's good. And one, and she'll go to the free throw line for a chance at a three-point play. Danny Winslow with just her second basket of the game. Foul is called on Lakin Schieferecke for the reach. And Winslow will have a chance to bring herself up to 6 points.
And they had only scored 3 points in this quarter until then. That's how good this Bullpup defense has been.
Free throw coming up for Danny Winslow. And one free throw. A terrific tournament so far this week. And now she's got 6. Knocks it down, 47-35. The Bullpups have to hold on and make free throws. Simple enough. Long pass from Lakin Schieferecke, gets into the hands of Grace Pyle, dribbles in, pulls the ball back out, and into the hands of Lakin Schieferecke with 2:35 to go.
And the Bullpups should not even take a shot. All they got to do is run clock. There's no need to take threes or anything like that. And Coach Stratman was calling for a timeout. Shane Harden didn't see him.
And Lakin Schieferecke, honestly, I thought in the 5-second call, I thought she got enough separation to deserve a reset of the time, but they don't call it. Coach Stratman had the timeout right in his ear, and Olathe South trails by 12 with the ball, 2:22 to go. Halliday, head fake into the left corner. Ponzer a three, no good. Rebound for Riley Hett. Off of the fingers of Cassie Cooks. Riley Hett with her 4th board. And Riley probably the best game of her senior year so far.
And if the Bullpups take a shot here, unless it's a layup, somebody's going to be running laps.
2:04 left to go in the game, and the Bullpups take a timeout after crossing half court. McPherson 47, Olathe South 35. Back in 30 seconds, listening to Bullpup basketball on 96.7 FM, KBBE. 2:04 left to go tonight here in the Mid-America Classic Championship game. Jim Joyner, Steve Sell, 96.7 FM, KBBE, and everybody listening worldwide at MidKansasOnline.com. It has been a great tournament here for these McPherson Bullpups. A little scary last night in the semifinals as they trailed Ulysses by 7 in the second half. They rallied, came back to win. They dominated on Thursday night, and they were playing an Olathe South team tonight, Steve, that they knew it was going to be so important to get off to a great start. And that's exactly what they did, and they have been hanging on ever since.
Yeah, they really have, and again, it's their defense. Their defense has won this game. They're only shooting 14 of 44 from the field, so that's not like they're burning up the scoreboard, but they are 14 of 19 at the line. That helps.
Free throws and no turnovers here in the final 2 minutes will be key. 47-35. Bullpups with Lakin Schieferecke, Andrea Sweat, Riley Hett, Hannah Hageman, and Grace Pyle on the floor. The Bullpups are 10-1. They've won 8 consecutive games. Grace Pyle dribbles into the corner, avoids a double team, now dumps it back up top. Lakin Schieferecke, 1:45 to go.
You want to spread the floor. You don't want to get caught in corners like that.
Andrea Sweat on the Bullpup logo. Back to Lakin Schieferecke. She's fouled, and she will go to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. And the person you want at the stripe right now is Lakin Schieferecke. Reagan Halliday picks up her first. So a 1-and-1 coming up for Lakin. This is a McPherson team at the 5A level that we don't know if they've quite gotten that respect that they deserve this year in terms of rankings. And I don't really think they care about all of that, but Lakin knocks down the first. But we said going in, this is a chance for them to make a statement. And a statement is taking on an undefeated number 3 team in 6A like Olathe South that has come to this tournament so many times and dominated. And it's been the Bullpups that have dominated so far tonight. Lakin Schieferecke knocks down both. She has 13, 49-35 with 90 seconds left to go. Bullpups trying to win their 9th consecutive game. Halliday, defended by Grace Pyle. They let her go toward the rim. She throws up a floater, no good. Rebound, bounces out of bounds off Andrea Sweat last. And Olathe South will inbound on the baseline to our left.
And I think Lakin Schieferecke right now might just be the MVP of this tournament. It's going to be her or Grace Pyle, as far as I'm considered.
Timeout is taken by Coach Allen and the Falcons as they were inbounding and running out of time. A full timeout here, 49-35. The Bullpups lead with 1:20 to go. And Steve, this is a team that sometimes it's hard to judge what they do based off of their league. And I think with other teams at the 5A level, we talked about it all week, at how tough 5A is going to be in March on the west side of the state. And there have been some teams that might be saying, okay, we're not too worried about McPherson. I know they won state last year, but they lose Taylor Roberts and they lose Mandy Cooks. And I've been saying all season long, when is going to be their own identity game? When is the game that this group will say, we are good? This is our team now. This is no longer the Taylor Roberts and Bullpups that everybody knows. And I think today is their game that they have emerged and said, this is our team.
Yeah, I think so. We've been looking for that real breakout victory all year, and I think it looks like they are, 80 seconds away from doing it. Looks like they're going to get it done. And I said if this team wins this tournament, it will not lose another game the rest of the regular season. I honestly believe that.
49-35, Olathe South inbounds. They throw it into the lane for Caroline Harshbarger. Goes all the way down, pops back out. And a rebound for Riley Hett. Ball into the hands of Lakin Schieferecke with 1:10 to go. Lakin just needs to cross half court. She does so. Gets the ball to Hannah Hageman. Back into the hands of Grace Pyle. 1:05 to go. Riley Hett with the ball now. She's fouled and will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
And the Bullpups just need to spread the court. They're getting too congested. If they spread the court, there's no way that Olathe South can get the ball, and they're going to have to foul.
The Falcons have been frustrated in this game today because they have not been able to get anything to go from the perimeter. First free throw for Riley Hett, spins in and out, and a rebound for Danny Winslow. And Winslow, who will likely be this tournament's MVP, only has 6 points at this moment. Back into the corner. Ponzer left open for Olathe South. The three misses short, long rebound going nearly out of bounds, but tracked down by Lydia Rhodes. 45 seconds left. Harshbarger fakes a three, floats a shot, and gets the roll in the lane. Nice take by Carolina Harshbarger. She has 11 points to lead the Falcons here in this game, and a timeout taken by Olathe South. 41.5 to go, 49-37 McPherson.
Yeah, Bullpups still in pretty good shape here. I just don't see any way that South can cut into the 12-point lead with 41 seconds to go.
41.5 left. The Bullpups have shot at 32% from the field. Olathe South is at 30%. And Coach Stratton made the comment to us this morning, Steve, that even though the Bullpups did not shoot it well yesterday, they might not shoot for a great percentage tonight because they knew it would be a tough team, but it would look different. That's the word he said. It would look different. And even though they haven't shot it at a great number tonight, it has looked different. They made a lot of shots early, and that was the difference of this one, is they just jumped on top of Olathe South and led 19-8 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they've only averaged 10 points in the last three quarters. They've scored 30 in the last three after 19 in the first. The first quarter basically was the ball game because it's been an even game since then. Out
of the timeout, the Bullpups inbound into the corner for Lakin Schieferecke, throws the ball off of the knee of Reagan Ponzer, and the Bullpups get a second chance on their own baseline. 49-37, 37.8 seconds left.
How about the home run play?
Hannah Hageman can throw it. She's on the baseline but cannot move. Gets the ball inbounds for Lakin Schieferecke. Lakin across half court, ball into the hands of Grace Pyle. And Grace is called for a travel. She was a little confused in what she wanted to do and didn't put the ball on the floor. Ball back to Olathe South, 33.2 to go.
Again, keep the floor spread out. I don't think it's going to make any difference. It's a 12-point game with 30 seconds to go.
Reagan Ponzer back to Winslow. Don't be surprised to see her take a shot here. Back to the right wing, Harshbarger, a three from the right side, no good. Rebound, Hannah Hageman.
And they're going to concede, I think.
That's her fifth rebound. Coach Allen will call off the Dogs. Up the floor for Andrea Sweat into the hands of Riley Hett. Down to 10 seconds left. The Bullpups lead it by 12. Olathe South will not foul. And for the second consecutive season, the Bullpups have knocked off the Olathe South Falcons, and for the second consecutive season, the McPherson girls win the Mid-America Classic. This is their 12th championship in their own event, and the Bullpups pick up a huge, and I mean huge, statement win here tonight. Final score, McPherson 49, Olathe South 37. Bullpups win, Bullpups win. The Bullpups win it in Steve Sell. The Bullpups win their 9th consecutive game, and the Falcons are undefeated no more.
Well, it was just a great high school basketball game. The coaches are having a nice talk after the game. Coach is Coach Hill. No, is that right?
That would be Coach Allen.
Coach Allen. I'm calling Coach Hill twice, but he is being, he's being very congratulatory to the Bullpups, and deservedly so. That was just a great effort by McPherson, and I just thought this was one of their best games of the year, and defensively they were just out of sight.
What a win for these McPherson girls as they win their second consecutive Mid-America Classic Championship. And one thing that we saw, Steve, last year was how important this tournament was to the McPherson girls, because they wanted to win this one so bad for Taylor Robertson and Mandy Cooks, who had not won in their first 3 years. And part of that was because Olathe South and Manhattan had come in here and played so well. But the Bullpups are starting to find their own identity. If they haven't already this year, they're 11-1 and have won 9 games in a row. But I think this is their game that they finally could look at and say, this is our team. This is a new year. Even though there's still that same success, this was their perfect game here tonight.
Well, I think one thing, they're finally playing to their strengths, and that is athleticism. And this up-tempo is really causing opponents a lot of problems. They've got the steady point guard in Schieferecke. She just holds this team together. And then you just got this crazy off-the-charts athleticism of Pyle and Ruddle, and then another steady player, Hannah Hageman, and then Cassie Cooks look like the Cassie Cooks of last year. That's the Cassie Cooks we need from here on out.
What a win for this McPherson team. Lake and Schieferecke leads the Bullpups with 13 points, 11 off the bench for Grace Pyle, 9 for Riley Hett as she knocked down 3 3-pointers. 6 points for Cassie Cooks, like Steve mentioned, in her first start of the season. 4 points for Andrea Sweat, 2 for Hannah Hageman, and then 4 for Emma Ruddle, all at the free throw line as the Bullpups win the Mid-America Classic here tonight. And a perfect weekend. And Steve, when it was 27-20 against Ulysses, and things start to run through your mind, and how are they going to find a way to come back? How are they going to turn around and beat an Olathe South team that just pounded Manhattan? I think there was a calmness with this McPherson team that they turned things around, took a timeout, and said, everybody, take a deep breath. We've got this. And it wasn't easy last night, but they set things up for this game here tonight. And what a great comeback last night. Showed a lot of toughness. And today, on a day that was very tough without a great player like Maggie Leaf, the Bullpups played their game and really controlled this one from start to finish.
Yeah, and I think last night, what really had to do with last night was the Bullpups had played Ulysses the year before and beat them by 37. And I think just from a mental outlook, they just felt like we can just play, we'll be fine, we don't have to really push it. Well, Ulysses really came to play last night. They really played great again tonight. They lost a double overtime game. So Ulysses was a heck of a lot better, I think, than we thought they were.
The Bullpups just received their medals, and now they will receive their Mid-America Classic Championship trophy for the second consecutive season, and it gets to stay here in McPherson. And the 5 seniors will accept the trophy. They lift it up high over their heads, and the Bullpups win the Mid-America Classic for the second consecutive season, and they win it tonight 49-37. That is 12 championships in this event in 24 seasons.
That's not a bad percentage, and they've been in the finals, I believe, 19 or 20 out of the 24 times, I believe. Is that correct?
Sounds right to me. As they have won it 12 times, they've been a runner-up 8 times, and Coach Chris Strathman and this staff win their 5th McPherson Mid-America Classic title. I did really good at not calling it the McPherson Invitational.
And it's going to be real interesting to see this all-tournament team. Now, the difference in the all-tournament team here and from the boys' tournament, they picked 10 in the boys. They only picked 5 for the girls.
Bullpups win at 49-37. We will step aside and come back on our CHS Refinery at McPherson post-game shows. The Bullpups win it by 12. Back in 3 minutes, you're listening to Bullpup Basketball on 96.7 FM, KBBE.